What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Truth Life Podcast. I'm your host, Tyren Johnson, and today we got a special guest, Elijah Millsap. What's up, Mr. Millsap?
How you doing, my boy? How you been?
I've been good, man. Over here just quarantining, trying to do my part, stay safe in this crazy world right now, bro. How you doing over there in Atlanta?
Same, man. Quarantining like everybody else, trying to stay out the way.
Good, man. Well, I'm happy you was able to join us today. We come from similar backgrounds, plus we're pretty close friends. And, I just wanted to pick your brain a little bit so that you can reach my audience, the guys that listen to my audience. I'm pretty sure that you'll be very helpful for them. So just, introduce yourself and let us know who Elijah Millsap is.
Yeah, man. It's good for you to have me. Long time waiting, long time coming. But I'm glad to always share my experiences. Obviously, it's been a long journey in basketball, and obviously we've been able to help each other along this journey and this path. So, from college to the pros, and it's good that, you're doing your thing with the Truth Life podcast, and I'm doing my thing with Divine Soul. So it's good to be here. Thanks for having me.
Got you. So just let us know about your journey from the beginning. How did it start for Eli?
Oh man, we'll be here all night, bro. But I'll try to do my best.
There you go.
Yeah, I'll try to do my best. Yeah, man. We'll just start from college, bro. Like you said, we come from similar backgrounds, communities where they wasn't really empowered. A lot of people didn't make it out. I have three other brothers. Paul being the most notarized one. He plays for the Denver Nuggets. My little brother Abe, who's a NBA skills trainer, and my oldest brother John Millsap, who's the GM of the Core 4, our basketball facility in Atlanta. And yeah, man, we come from humble beginnings, single parent household. A mother raised us into to be, God fearing, and to always, make sure that we were giving back in some type of way, form of fashion. And so, yeah, all of us grew up playing basketball. All of us got scholarships, and my journey, took a turn, and I'm still on my journey as far as basketball, but I've also been able to, pivot in ways where I'm working on my business off the basketball as well. So, thanks to Tyren, you helped me a lot, in the past year or two in the, I guess, let's say the tech area, right?
Right. Yeah, the small little technical. I mean, you had the drive and everything else. I just wanted to help you, with the shortcuts because I took the long way. So I wanted to give you all the information I had learned so you don't have to go through all of that. But
Absolutely. So you're one of the first basketball players that I've known who's been, working on their off the basketball, opportunities, as well as, when they're done playing, they have the other passions to fall back on. And that's something I've always been interested in. It's just always been about timing. And so this past 2 years, it's been the right timing for me personally, to work on my brand's Divine Soul, as well as some other different things, building an app called Karma Arena that's supposed to be dropping soon. So looking forward to it. And I encourage all basketball players and athletes, to have other passions outside the game, that sparks your interest. And, that way you can, fall back on them, like for times like this where you're in the house and you have something else to do.
right, man, that's perfect. I love that because, this podcast is about self-confidence and the mental approach, not only in sports, but in life too. And what you touched on just now was just how we focus on things off the court, because so much our whole life we've been trained to wake up and be a lion and just go out and attack someone every day. But what happens whenever, them limbs get tired and old and weak, you can't do this for the rest of your life. And it's a very small part of your life. And I try to tell it to guys all the time, this basketball window is very short. Even if you play 20 years, you still got 80, 70 more years left to live, bro. Like, what is you gonna do? So it's great that I know your drive. Your drive is the only reason I'm still playing sports. I think I told you this before, but I'm gonna tell my podcast. So Elijah was in the Philippines, right? And I forget where I was, but I was killing. But I was like, this probably gonna be my last year. My dream was to play in the NBA. I ain't in the NBA, so I'm done. And Elijah was like, bro, what are you complaining about, bro? And I was like, bro, I'm just tired of being over here. I'm just tired of, nobody accepting my talent. Elijah was like, well, go ahead and make you a statue. I was like, make a statue? What are you talking about, Eli? He told me he had just, I think, was you fresh out of the NBA when you went to the Philippines?
Yeah, I was basically, I was in the NBA, but obviously, I was teetered on the borderline. So I was always telling you, if I had to, go overseas, that's one thing that we should be striving to do. Is build a statue over there.
That's
like
what
they
it
set up
was.
on Mulberries. Yeah, so.
For me, I know you, and I don't know, I never asked you this, but I felt like that probably was like a low point. But I know you, I got another story about you too, but I know that you was going to be super motivated to make them pay. So the whole time you was over there, I never seen you like doubt yourself. You was like, I'm gonna go over here, I'm gonna build a statue. They ain't gonna never forget me. I was in the gym the next morning at like 7:00. I was just
You've
so
been doing your thing ever since, man. Been doing
ever
your thing
since
ever
that
since.
day, everything changed, bro. It just, I'm like, I'm gonna build a statue everywhere I go. And then 2 other things happened in college. It was like, Eli was the guy, I don't know, you had an issue with your grades or something like that, I think, as a freshman. And
Yeah.
you wasn't eligible. And we was in the hallway in the dorm rooms, and this man looked me in my eyes and said, I'm gonna be the freshman of the year. I'm like, bro, you're not even playing, bro. I'm like, you probably gonna play a half a year. He's like, no, I'm gonna be freshman of the year. Man came in, it was the freshman of the year. And I was just looking like, I seen the drive, and literally that's why it's good to be friends, because I didn't know we was that close back then, but I realized at the end of the season how close we were and how close we became friends. The man taught me how to walk. I was walking in practice one day. You probably remember this. I remember all the little things. I remember all the little things, bro, because, I pay attention. I was walking in practice. The man smacked me back in my head. He's like, T, you ain't trying to eat. I'm like, what you mean? He's like, you're not walking on the balls of your feet. You walking on your heels. I said, what?
I remember this one.
I literally started walking on the balls of my feet, and it literally put me in an aggressive mindset about everything that I do. Everything was more functional. Everything was more aggressive. When I was literally walking like on my heels, I was more relaxed. I was cool with coming in third in the sprints. I was cool with coming in fourth in the sprints. When I was walking on the balls of my feet, I was in first every time, or I was making something happen. And I attribute that to you, because you're the first person that really like didn't look like you would. You didn't come to college to go to college. You came to college to chase your dreams. And that changed for me, because that's how I was coming out of high school. But when you get into college, you start meeting girls, you start hanging around the wrong crowd. But it was good to see somebody that was like, look, I'm about to lock in and I'm going to try to be one and done from Louisiana, Lafayette. I was like, and that was one of my biggest inspiration, bro. So I appreciate you. We gonna hit you with we're gonna give you roses while you're here.
I appreciate you, bro. It's very important that, athletes, especially in this time and age, as well as younger athletes, with transferring and with, sitting out because of your grades. Those are the times where you gotta, lock in the most. For all the athletes, the NBA guys who's been reaching out to me over the last couple of weeks, overseas guys, these are the times, where you got to lock in the most, because it's so easy at any given moment to, just let yourself go. And so, I had a lot of experience with that because of those situations. My freshman year, having to sit out the whole season, half of the season, missing all the big games, I wanted to play in. I remember Tennessee, Chris Lofton, you guys played them. Western Kentucky with Courtney Lee, you guys played them, Bo McCaleb, all those big games, I missed out. But, it's crazy how God works itself out, because, right after all those games, he still gave me time, like 13 games, I believe, to do what I needed to do in conference play and win freshman of the year. And even when we used to go out, everybody else, would go home 2, 3 o'clock in the morning. I'll go straight to that regular ass gym.
Black and Coliseum.
Lago Coliseum at 5, 6 o'clock in the morning, because it would have been so easy for me to, just, go back to my dorm room and just, go to sleep and stay asleep, not even go to classes, because nobody was checking on me at that particular time, because there was no accountability really, because I couldn't play. And obviously everybody sees what's going on with the NCAA and how, if you're not able to play, how lenient they are with you. And so that's what my situation. I had to hold myself accountable. And so I challenge all the athletes, out there right now, young and old, hold yourself accountable, come back better than what you left off before this virus.
Right. So good, a big time question. I'm happy you touched on, especially guys who transferred and, guys who might have like eligibility issues. I made a post yesterday on Instagram about not transferring, about being on the bench for pretty much 3 years. And my senior year, I had 1 year left and just being all world. Coach Lee kind of went off on me on Facebook, bro.
Yeah.
It's
What
all
is
good.
that?
He was like, the coaching staff did everything for you. I'm like, what? Bro, stop it. But anyway, yeah, man. So I just want to, a big problem I have with like a lot of kids that I mentor and the kids that's in my camps and some of the pros I have is they can't handle setbacks. And for me, setbacks, I thrive when, I got 1 year left in college. I got 1 year left in high school. I need a big contract. I thrive when I'm broke. When when I'm at my lowest, I'm comfortable. How do you handle setbacks?
Yeah, it's cliche, that I think everybody says, not everybody, but most people that I've heard say, they love it. But a lot of people haven't been through the situations that we actually been, like at the bottom, There's actually setbacks, and then there's real life,
Yeah.
setbacks. You know what I'm saying? And the uncontrollable setbacks, the ones that are just can actually level you and put you in a funk, put you in a depressive state. And so what I can say about, setbacks is this. Uh, don't look at them as setbacks. You got to look at everything in a sense of, I feel like it's like a divine order, if that can say, I'm trying to get my words right. I
Right.
feel like everything happens in divine order, and trusting, your journey, you can't look at every situation and say, hey, this was supposed to be my situation. This is supposed to be the time that I win, because, 2, 3 years down the road, you may win in a much bigger way. And so
Right.
you got to always think, and that's how I've been able to accept it, because I used to take setbacks hard, and I don't want to be like, I don't want people to think that, I'm some type of abnormal or whatever, I never ever loved setbacks at all. And I can tell you why. The reason why I never loved setbacks, because I've always prepared, like with everything, for as studying, for as film study, for as working out,
Mm-hmm.
and far as visualizing, I visualize my goal, I study, and I work extremely hard to get it. So when it happens and it don't happens, it can floor me, a person like me, because at the end of the day, I know how much effort I put into it.
Right.
And I know I'm supposed to have it. But I started, just allowing things to happen, not just looking at it as, okay, it wasn't supposed to happen. There's something bigger in store for me. And when you start to understand that, you start to, get more momentum and saying, you know what, I can see exactly what's going on and what's happening. And whatever is going to come from that setback, it's going to be even bigger than that setback,
I
per se.
got you. I
If
feel
that makes
like
any sense.
it makes a lot of sense. A lot of things. I mean, when I signed this gig in France,
Mm,
I didn't know the team. My agent said, "Yo, they got a team in France. They want to sign you." I was like, "Sign it." He was like, "You don't want to know what division they're in?" I said, "Don't matter." He's like, "You want to know how much money? Don't matter. I'm gonna win the MVP. We'll win the championship." I
yeah,
didn't look. The coach called me. I was like, "Yes, no, no problem. I'll be there next week." Because
absolutely.
I was dead broke. I had messed up my money. I was super broke, bro. And I was just
Mm,
in a place where I was just like, on the outside, it looked like to everybody like I was balling. I was selling T-shirts. I was doing photo shoots, music videos, but I was putting
mm,
all that money back into my businesses. So I
Right.
was like, I'll go broke. I'll hustle to get it back. I'll make logos. I
Right.
was flyers at the club. When the
Right.
basketball gig came back, I was like, yo, I'm coming. But
Right.
this ended up being one of the like 3 of the best years of my life because it took me going broke. I wouldn't have came back to France if I would have had money.
Yeah.
I would never came back to Europe because I don't like the cold like that.
Right.
And I don't like this style of basketball. But those setbacks is what created all of the success I've had in the last 3 years. You know what I'm saying? So
And to be honest with you, to add to that, and when you get to those situations where, what I'm saying, your funds are even low, what I'm saying, you don't sweat no more. Everybody else, what I'm saying, is sweating. Everybody else is going crazy. You've been there before and you know what you're capable of coming back from. So when you have those setbacks, what I'm saying, you got to really, what I'm saying, appreciate those in a sense of, even if this setback is not for me, what I'm saying, you may have a young kid that's coming the same path as you, or somebody who's, what I'm saying, on the same path or the same journey. And you can actually give them the experience and help them because you've been there before. And so
right.
that's what, what I'm saying, brings the best out of, what I'm saying, setbacks more than anything, is knowing that you can actually inspire and help somebody who's actually trying to strive to do what you've already done.
Exactly. That's why I like these podcasts, man. Hearing guys like you, it basically goes into my next question because the young guys are the most important guys, in my opinion. You feel what I'm saying?
All right.
What inspires you? What makes you get up and be like, I want to be the best Elijah Millsap that I possibly can be today?
It's a good question. One of those is the, obviously the young guys, what I'm saying, inspiring, being able to inspire those guys. The other is my boys, my family, and, what I'm saying, my passions, the things that, what I'm saying, I care about. Um, those things inspire me the most, what I'm saying, in time. What I'm saying? Obviously, what I'm saying, you only got a certain amount of time to do anything. And when you put that in perspective, what I'm saying, we only got a certain amount more time to play basketball. So a lot of things that I'll be focused on in the next 6 to 7, 8 years will be, what I'm saying, how do I maximize my basketball career? What I'm saying? My first half of the career wasn't as pleasant, but I think I got it figured out in a way where I'm still healthy. I'm still, athletic, and I can, what I'm saying, make a good life for myself, as well as just being happy playing the game. And when you look at time like that and just understand that, what I'm saying, you have only a lot of time to do what you need to do, it will inspire you. And so I only have a certain amount of time, what I'm saying, before my kids get of age for me to actually, strive to, build an app, spend time and money building an app, or, having a clothing line and making something of it, what I'm saying, where it's not becoming a hobby, but it's actually becoming a profitable business. And, what I'm saying, when you put it into that perspective, what I'm saying, it's easy to be inspired.
Got you. I got you. It's good, man. I just feel like, do you think that the kids put it in auto drive, like takes it to another level? Because for me, I pretend I got 3 kids in my brain right now. I got Zai, Zoe, and little TJ, like 2 girls and 1 boy. And when I'm playing, I'm literally thinking of them.
Mm. Well, I don't know, man. I know for sure that, what I'm saying, my sons, what I'm saying, inspired me the most, but it's just more so, to what depths, what I'm saying, is that fire, what I'm saying? Like, I feel like there's so much left inside of me that I can give, and so much, what I'm saying, it's not like I reached my peak when it comes to, what I'm saying, how hard I can go. And, what I'm saying? So I'm actually getting back to chasing that. And I actually want to know exactly the depths of how hard, what I'm saying, you can actually be inspired, and how, what I'm saying, it's crazy, what I'm saying. But
Right.
back in the day, that's what I'm striving for, what I'm saying. It's deeper than that. It's even
Right.
deeper than that. It's even deeper than that. That makes sense. You know what I'm
This
saying?
goes to my next question. I want to get deep. That's what this podcast is about, getting deep so that they can get out of them poverty-stricken situations we got out of, bro. It was beauty down there, but it still was poverty, but
Yeah.
it was beautiful. You know what I'm
All
saying?
right.
The
Right.
next thing
Right.
is, which I think is the most important thing, and this is what I mean you disagree, but I still respect it and I understand. What role does God plays in your life, like as far as just success? Because for me, I come from a slave plantation riddled It's slave plantations all in my city. It's 6 slave plantations like within 30 minutes of me. And I literally
Yeah.
could walk to like 3 of them. So we was very, very religious, very, very religious. And for so long, God was like it was like my source of power. It was like my
Yeah.
source of, oh, you know what? I'm about to do this for God. He gave me these abilities, so I'm gonna do everything I can so I don't let him down. And that turned me into like a Superman, a little bit of a Superman. So what
All right.
role does God plays in your life, in your career and everything, your business, everything? What role does God play in your life?
Okay. So I guess when I talk about God in a sense, you know what I'm saying, I try to be as simple as possible. You know what I'm saying? If I don't wake up in the morning, you know what I'm saying, there is no goals. You know what I'm saying? So as soon as my eyes wake up, I understand, you know what I'm saying, God did that for me. And to be honest with you, that could be good enough. uh, if I'm not healthy, you know what I'm saying, or if I'm not able to move, you know what I'm saying, if I walk out the house and get hit, you know what I'm saying, I'm never able to play basketball or play with my sons again, you know what I'm saying, then I can't strive for the things that I'm actually trying to strive for. So with that being said, you know what I'm saying, there will be no goals, there'll be no motivation. And so I just, thank God for that alone. But obviously, you know this, you know what I'm saying, being overseas, you know what I'm saying, chasing dreams of playing in the NBA, you need protection, man. You need protection that's that just goes beyond,
The
you
worldly
know,
things.
worldly things.
Yeah.
You got bad energy out there. You got people, you know what I'm saying, who you know what I'm saying, don't want to see you win, don't actually want to see you, you know what I'm saying, live your life and be, you know what I'm saying, be yourself, be your full self, you know what I'm saying? And so I feel like, you know what I'm saying, God actually is that protection for me. He's always been that protection for me where, I've still been able to accomplish things that in my mind I have no clue how,
Right.
you know? And so when I look at it like that, you know what I'm saying, I'm always humbled and grateful.
See, that's why I'm trying to get these guys.
And I
See,
can't lose. So I've already been a success, you know what I'm saying? So
that's what I'm trying to get. That's what I'm trying to get these guys too. I kind of touched it on the last episode, but if you can find that God-like passion, like
yeah,
like you become immortal, because like you said, you try to find things to protect you from these worldly things. It's like where I'm at in life right now. Even in the Bible, it says this: you shouldn't live of the world. You know
yeah,
what I'm saying? And that's how I feel. I don't believe in God, but that's how I feel in my own world. Like I created my own world. I got my own 10 commandments. It's based off, it's kind of the same, but it's just, I use myself as my superpower and my experiences as my protection. But I want players to find that, whether that's
yeah.
God, whether that's
You're more
Allah.
spiritual. You're
Yeah,
more spiritual. You're more
exactly.
spiritual. And so that's the reason why, I created Divine Soul. It's almost like your modern day, uh, I don't want to say religion. It's like, you know what I'm saying? Basically, it's almost
It
like,
is a, it is a
what,
religion though. It,
in
it's,
a
it,
sense,
it's a religion
Divine
because
Soul?
you're living a certain way. It's making you live a certain and think a certain way. You feel what I'm saying? Like you said,
I feel like God is just, you know what I'm saying, all powerful. I feel like he's way, way smarter than us. And so I don't really just, allow people, I don't want people just feeling like, you know what I'm saying, okay, because I'm a Christian and because they may worship Buddhism or whatever the other religions may be, Catholic or whatever,
mm,
that we don't serve the same God. I feel like God can be, you know what I'm saying, God is smarter than that. You know what I'm saying? And obviously, you know what I'm saying, he may have certain names, but it's still one.
it's
He's
one
still the
God.
same person. It's one God.
Mm-hmm.
And you know what I'm saying? I don't judge anybody for, you know what I'm saying, who they serve. I just want them to tap into that source.
I'll
You know what I'm
tap
saying? I
into
feel
that.
like that
That's what it's about for
that
me.
source is
Tapping
God.
into that source. That
Yeah.
source. I see how you guys live your life as a family, from mama to brothers to, and I see the power it has behind it. The same with my family. I see the power that it has whenever they tap into that source. You ever hear people sing in church, bro? Like whenever they're singing for God, they're Beyonce. You know what I'm
Facts.
saying?
They go to a
Whatever.
different level. It's almost
Exactly.
like being in a zone. You know what I'm saying?
It's in his exactly. I just want to, whether that's Allah, Buddha, Jesus, whoever, tap into that, and that's how I feel like you'll find a lot of success in life, and that don't have to be monetary. That don't have to be success. Is not all about money. it could be far as just reaching them goals. You feel what I'm saying? And
Reaching those goals, being happy, all of that is success to me. And a lot of people don't understand
that happiness
happiness
is the
is,
real
yeah,
success.
it's different.
You
It's
get all that
different, you know what I'm
money,
saying?
that money comes and goes, and all you gotta do is hustle for money. Happiness is the real success, bro. Feel what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
man.
But that goes back to the next question. If you could go back to being 18 years old, what would you tell yourself? What advice would you give yourself if you can go back to being 18 years old? Because I got a lot of 18-year-old guys in my camp that think they know it all. So I need you to hit them
Yeah.
with it.
Um, I would definitely tell myself, young king, you know what I'm saying, buckle up. Buckle up, man. Buckle up and trust your instincts. You know, obviously, I wouldn't tell myself much, because obviously, I'll be contradicting what I said earlier. And I feel like everything happens for a reason. And so, I'm very, very happy with my two boys. I feel like an example would be almost like the butterfly effect. If I was to change something, will I have my two blessings? Will I have my girlfriend? You know what I'm saying? Will I have, like anything. So I'm very, careful about saying what I would regret or would change, because I wouldn't change anything, you know what I'm saying? I'll just, tell myself, trust my instincts and buckle up for sure.
Gotcha. I don't know if you want to touch on this. We can get off of it. We don't have to answer this, but for me, I've seen you and your girl been together since high school. Now me with my
Hold on,
girl.
before you go there, what would you tell your younger self?
What I tell my younger self at 18 years
Yeah.
old? Man,
What
that's
would
a
you
good
tell
one.
your younger self, man?
No, I ain't even thought of that. How can I want to say it with being respectful, but I still want to give it raw at the same time. I would tell myself that it's just business. Does that make sense? It's
Mm.
like I really respected my teammates, my friends, I respected everyone too much because
Wow.
I held back my powers because I wouldn't want to like embarrass them some kind of way. Like I was really cool with being a backup to Lorraine. Like because
I feel what you're saying.
when I was in practice, if I'm getting Lorraine better, I'm gonna get better. He gonna get better. We all gonna eat. And I
All right.
was really afraid to take it to that next level until I reached desperation my senior year. And I was like, boy, forget Lorraine, forget everybody. If this don't happen, this is my last shot. And that's when I got rid of all the girls I was entertaining,
Mm.
all the friends. That was if you was a friend and you wasn't rebounding, you out of there. Uh, I would have just said, realize really take the game and life serious. Because before, I was kind of a privileged kid that came out of a poverty situation. I had a car at 15. We had the biggest house on the block. Anything I wanted, I got. You know what I'm saying? And I made
Mhm.
crazy money selling beats. So I came into college pretty spoiled, and I was the least known recruit out of 9, I think, freshmen. And I was up there like, it's college. When guys
Yeah.
like you was up there like, bro, I'm going on and done. I didn't even have that. That mindset wasn't even I know I wanted to be a pro at something. It didn't have to be basketball. It probably could have been baseball or football. But I know I was going to be an athlete. And I just like, okay, this thing will be all right. Let me get 2 years. I don't know what a triple threat is. So,
Yeah.
let me learn all of these things because I went to football school. Like, let me learn all these things. And I really would have said, this is a business. I would have said that early if I was 18.
That's a good one.
Yeah. I didn't want to throw nobody under the bus, but that's the best, that's the best version.
I mean, that's the truth.
Right. So the question of the day, bro, when you signed that first deal in the league, I
Mhm.
must have I must have jumped for joy like I just made $10 million. I was in a house screaming, like going crazy. How was that feeling after all that grind, all that hard work? What that feeling was like to finally get that shot? Not that shot to seal that deal.
Yeah, man. It was amazing. Obviously it was one of those situations that happened fast, and coming from the G League, you hear about it, but you really don't really know how fast it goes until it happens to you. And so those are the things that I prayed for, you know what I'm saying, after I was in the G League for so long. I was like, you know what, let me set my goals as being one of the coldest G League players to come out of the G League into the NBA. Things like that, you know what I'm saying, motivate me. Because obviously being in the G League is tough. You know what I'm saying? It's hard to find your motivation for a long period of time, you know what I'm saying, playing with no fans, playing in tough, you know what I'm saying, living arrangements and things of that nature, you know what I'm saying, was just very tough for a guy like me. And so I used to find little things like that and say like, you know what, who can I be like, you know what I'm saying? Not far as game wise, because I got my own game, but who plays similar like me that I can actually, you know, positionally, you know, tries to strive to be like and get to that level.
Mm-hmm.
And so once I did that, you know what I'm saying, it put me in a position where I'm just, you know, playing the role. And so getting into the league was more so about playing that role. And so it was like the guys like Wesley Matthews, guys like, you know, the Tony Allens, guys like the Matt Barnes, who else is in there? Those type of guys, you know what I'm saying? Energy guys, defensive guys who's going, you know what I'm saying, get up and guard your best man. You know, I was just focused on locking anybody and everybody up. But to further answer that question, man, it was nothing like it, you know what I'm saying? Checking in for the first time and getting your first bucket, you know, and actually, you know what I'm saying, hearing all the fans screaming.
Right.
It was amazing. You know, it's nothing like it, but you know, it goes by so fast and you just got to stay. You can't take it all in because you got to stay focused. You know what I'm saying? You got to stay focused because it's literally, you know what I'm saying? I've seen guys who got called up, didn't touch the floor, got cut. You know, you work so hard to get to that moment. But at the end of the day, you know what I'm saying, you got to do it all over again to even get to the, you know what I'm saying? So I was just, you know what I'm saying, grateful and appreciative for the minutes and the time that I played. I was able to become the all-time leader, you know, in minutes played as a call-up in G League history, which was something that, you know what I'm saying, I can tell my kids and say, you know what I'm saying, if you only knew what it took to even get to that level in that moment,
Mm-hmm.
you know, it's just humbling and grateful. So, yeah.
That's, bro, like when you said that check-in, I don't know how you experience. When I checked in against the Bulls, I checked in to guard Rip Hamilton. And the Bulls had Carlos Boozer and Joakim Noah. First play in, they go floppy. I'm chasing Rip. Rip slow as hell. But on that during those 10 seconds,
mm-hmm.
he was the fastest. Like the game moved so fast for me, bro. I don't know if I was excited or what. But bro, that game was so fast because I wasn't really nervous because I was like, I'm not supposed to be here right now. I just know, you know what I'm saying? So I was like just excited to be in the game. But I was like, if the game is this fast, you know how whenever you go somewhere, the game always fast and eventually slow down. I was like, I don't know if I'm going to be able to catch up to this speed. This shit is fast. But that experience, bro, being on the NBA floor was just amazing. What was one of the guys that you seen that you was like, you know, his mental approach and the way he prepared for the game, you know, helped you out a lot?
I ain't gonna lie to you, T. I never really looked at people. You know what I'm saying? The only person I used to watch was, as far as mentally and as far as preparations, was
Cole.
Kobe Bryant. Kobe Bryant.
I know this guy like
and
the back of
then,
my hand.
Yeah, Kobe Bryant and my brother. You know what I'm saying? Those two guys are the only two guys that I've ever watched. You know what I'm saying? I don't think any other guy, you know what I'm saying, was working harder than me or focusing mentally more than me.
And
I
all of
just never.
that's relative, right?
What?
All that hard work is like relative, right? It's because for me, I'm the same way. I look at it like some of the guys that they say the hardest working guys, I'm like, you should see what we got going on.
So I look at it in a sense of And I measure myself on, what I've accomplished in the sense of, what did I go through? And I could have folded in those situations every single time, but I didn't, And a lot of guys would have folded if they knew, the backstory behind, the things that went on. And for me to even get to the level, because it was never ever about just, basketball. It was never ever about just, me playing the game of basketball. There was a lot of, a jealousy, coaches in the G League who, was jealous of the fact that, I had a brother in the NBA, or the fact that they felt like, I was a guy who had money and that they needed to give guys other opportunity. Yeah, and so those was the hurdles that, I had to fight early, and they gave me kind of like a red flag that, kind of like put me in a bad shape when it comes to scouts. And so it was 2 or 3 years I didn't know what the problem was. And so once I realized that, that was the biggest hurdle. It wasn't even about basketball no more. It was about like, how do I fix this shit over here? That has nothing to do with basketball.
Right. How did that affect you though? Because if you notice, bro, I never asked you nothing about Paul. Yet one of the best moments in my life, if you look at my highlights from the last year and a half, this year, and the last year and a half, put my highlights on side of a Paul Millsap highlights. I stole his whole game from that one day we was in the gym. The guy hit me with a crossover. I've never been so shook in my life. I stole his whole game. After that day, I went and just paid attention to every move. He's like probably my favorite player in the NBA as far as move, him and Carmelo. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I started studying Kobe because you used to watch Kobe all the time. I stole that from you too. So I started studying Kobe. But I studied Kobe, Melo, Paul Millsap, and that's pretty much, and that's Chris Copeland, bro. I steal Cope game too, my boy Chris Copeland. That's but it, bro. You know what I'm saying? I think that guys try to look at the Kyrie, the Durant. I steal Durant a little bit too. I forgot. I steal a little bit Durant. His has he pull up. But they try to look at a whole bunch of players where I just focus in. If I get Kobe skill times Paul Millsap skill plus strength plus Melo dog plus Melo and Paul's jumpers and Durant's length, I'm an animal.
That's how it be, right? That's how it be. And the guys that I grew up watching and I wanted to pattern my game off was, Kobe, AI, and D Wade. Right. And obviously, put my own stuff in there, but obviously those are the 2 or 3 guys that I grew up just, wanted to kind of like put together a package together. So,
you know what's the best thing about your game for me? Like playing against you, you sneaky athletic. Like,
shoot, when I was younger, when we was in college, it wasn't even sneaky. It was like, I was athletic, but it was, it was like that. It was almost like that D Wade. It was that D Wade athleticism.
Use it when you have to.
So when you use it when you have to. And right. You test me, I'm gonna dunk on you.
When you got mad, I remember this was it was one day in the summer y'all came down, and your brothers came, and somebody, David Dees had pissed you off. You was like, boy, I'm gonna take your spot. And boy, you came off of 2. I seen you like, okay, he's getting layup, he can shoot it, he can penetrate, got D. Like, I don't really see him playing above the rim. Till somebody pissed you off, I was like, oh, okay. This boy different. You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah. And I used to get that from D Wade, bro. D Wade was always, catching people. Like one of the coldest dunks was that Verja, you know what I'm saying? Oh. And I know you're gonna put that into this this soundbite too, after the soundbite. It was sick, but at the end of the day, Verja, you know what I'm saying, the way D Wade was moving, you know what I'm saying, he was moving slow and acting, it was looking like, okay, I'm not gonna dunk on you. But I know in his head the whole time he just exploded. Bam! Right. Just punched it on him. So those were things that I used to always watch during the game. Like, okay, if I cannot, show, you know what I'm saying, that I'm about to dunk on a person and I get to this spot, I know it's over for him.
I got one more question before we get into the best part of the podcast. How does it feel working out with your little brother? Like, bro, to be honest with you, bro, I've been to some of the top trainers in the world. I ain't never had a connection. Like, maybe because I know him, you know what I'm saying? I felt that, he had the best intentions for me. But I ain't had a trainer. Ever since I left Abe, bro, I've been pretty much unstoppable, to be honest with you. Like, what I learned in that 1 week was I've been trying to get back to Atlanta ever since. You know what I'm saying? Time don't permit it like that. But
All right.
how did you feel working out with your little brother?
Man, it's amazing what he's been able to, accomplish over these last 10 years. He has a story and a journey of his own. You know what I'm saying? Abe tore his Achilles uh,
Damn, I didn't know
when he
that.
was in college, and you know what I'm saying. He had some rough points, and for him to be where he's at right now, and to, build his own clientele with players who trust him, like you and other NBA guys, overseas guys. It's amazing, you know what I'm saying? And it's we thank God every day for it. But him working me out, you know what I'm saying, it's a whole different thing. I can't work out with my little brother, you know what I'm saying? Obviously, it's we bump heads at times, but it's just what it is. It's just one of those sibling things. But, obviously we get it in. 3-4 years ago, we used to go super, super hard. It's just that I don't work out like that no more. You know what I'm saying? I work out differently. I work out maybe an hour and a half a day, and it's basically spot shooting, getting to my spots, things that I'm specifically going to do if I get in the game or when I get in the game. And so, obviously, for guys, you know what I'm saying, who are, obviously, still putting that much time, and I'm more so, let me get my hour and a half in, and let me get to this business. And so until something comes up. And so I've been kind of like doing that. Abe is the type of guy, you know what I'm saying, he's going to be in the gym
You
2
locked in the
hours.
gym rat.
He's going to be locked in. You know what I'm saying? If you don't match his energy, it's going to be a situation. And at this age and what I'm doing, I can't match his energy.
That's what I liked about Abe, man. Abe don't bite. Abe
You
didn't
know?
bite his tongue, bro. Abe don't bite his tongue with nobody, bro. That's why I like him, bro.
Nah, right, exactly. I love it, you know what I'm saying? But, it took me a while to understand, at the end of the day, you know what I'm saying, that's just not me right now. But obviously, when it comes time for me to, work myself back into shape, and to that point, we're gonna link back up.
Got you. So let's talk about, we're gonna shift, we're gonna change atmospheres right here. We're gonna go from basketball, we're gonna go to life. Let's talk about, you got two businesses, Divine
Mhm.
Soul. If y'all see me, most of my picks a year ago, I had Divine Soul shirts on. That's Elijah's brand. We got Divine Soul, we got Karma Arena. You know what I'm saying? Can I talk about Karma Arena, or we're gonna keep that on the low?
We'll keep it on low for now. You talk about it a little bit, but we'll keep
Because
the details out.
yeah,
We'll keep the
keep
details out.
details out. But Como Arena is something that my man got stored in a bag that he got coming. We're not gonna tell you all the details, but we got Divine Soul. He got the shirt on right now, Divine Plan. You can go to ourdivinesoul.com is the website, right?
Absolutely. ourdivinesoul.com and at ourdivinesoul IG.
Our Divine Soul. I got a few logo designs on there. You know what I'm saying? But besides
Absolutely.
that, man, tell us about Divine Soul. Tell us, what you got going on off the court.
Yeah, so I founded Divine Soul about 2 years ago. Created it mainly to inspire, empower, and love everyone who has experienced trauma in some shape, form, or fashion. Obviously coming from uh, economical, social, or positioning. You know what I'm saying, that trauma can, bring. Either it comes from all different shapes and sizes. I've been in a situation in a bad environment, so I know the trauma that can comes from being in a bad environment. Obviously with social media and how got anti-bullying campaigns and all type of different things that can, trauma can stem from there too. So it's just more so, a brand that I created to show people that, everybody's going through somewhat of the same things, and that to bring us a community that we can come together and, inspire and empower each other to, get out of those mental health problems and those issues, get it out together. And so as an athlete, what I'm saying, I wanted to be one of the first to just, put myself out there. I struggled with depression for uh, a little bit, and I needed a way to get out. And I felt like if I was struggling with, situations, and I'm playing basketball, doing what I love, I can imagine people who are not doing what they love, and don't have some of the resources. And so that always stuck with me, even when I was asleep. It's almost like you got to do something to, you know what I'm saying, to get their voice heard, and so they can actually believe in something. And so I started Divine Soul.
Right. It's amazing, how vulnerable players are starting to be people. But let's just stick in our world a little bit. But a lot of NBA players are talking about mental health issues today, because it used to be something that was, we didn't speak about because I don't know, somebody made it. Oh, you're not a man if you are depressed. You can't have feelings.
Yeah.
Our community has taught that you're not man enough if you're emotional. You know what I'm saying? And like
All right.
me, I would toot my horn and be like, yo, I don't have depression issues. I'm like, nothing could get me down because I have so much talent that I can find something to cover it. But when me and my girl sit down at night and she asks me real intimate questions, tears are falling. like, yo, what's going on? But
Right.
those are the raw emotions that I've been holding back because I haven't had anyone to express that to. So I'm depressed and don't even know it. You feel what I'm saying?
Exactly. We obviously we haven't been in situations where we were ever taught how to love. I didn't have a father in my life, so what I'm saying, I didn't see a man's perspective of how to love, when to be vulnerable, when to be, things like that. So it's tough. What I'm saying, you got to figure that out for yourself. And obviously having two boys, what I'm saying, it made me want to figure it out even more. For them, how can I teach them, what I'm saying, how to love their sons and how to, raise them in the right way on the emotional level, and sharing different things if I don't know how to myself. So life's a journey. Divine Soul is who I am, and I want people to know that's who they are as well. We all were created by God. I feel like, in my sense of creation, and obviously with what we're doing with right now with this core team, who would have thought that, what I'm saying, it would have brought the whole world, to their knees and together. And if that's not, God telling everybody, saying that I can do what I want to do at when you the time, you guys should love each other. Versus, what I'm saying, striving to have the most money or be the top this, be the top that, what I'm saying? Everything has to be, none of that really matters. Everything has to be in, I feel like the right the right, what's the word I'm looking for? Organization. And if God's not number one, and then, what I'm saying, your family's not number two, where it keeps the flow of, what I'm saying, the growth of
Life.
human life, what I'm saying? I feel like,
yeah.
And I feel like that was getting, like, I guess, messed up, over the course of, what I'm saying, people's ambitions and desires.
You see, my community,
So
we said take the love out of it. We started loving everything about this world that comes with the world instead of actually loving the world.
exactly.
You know what I'm saying? So
Right.
that's what Divine Soul is all about, right? It's just about everything. If you understand the word divine, I think it's pretty self-explanatory.
All right. Absolutely.
So what's
And
next with it? We got t-shirts, we got all kind of apparel that we're gonna be coming out with, and you constantly making new design, constantly putting out things. Do you have any events that you're gonna be all trying to focus on?
Absolutely. It's more than a shirt. It's just more so, people. This is making, vulnerability. This is making mental health. This is making God. This is making all of that cool. We doing that
Being able to talk about it.
Being able to talk about it, being able to be visually inspired by something that, what I'm saying, that matters actually, what I'm saying, outside of, the things I remember buying, what I'm saying, when I first got money, buying,
I'm
$1,500 belts,
selling it
things like
all
that.
now.
Right, exactly. I'm looking at a $2,500 Louis bag right now that I'm gonna give it to somebody, and I'm looking at it and I'm just like, why? Like right now, like why? And basically, with this, what I'm saying, I realized, what I'm saying, I could create something that can actually, inspire other people. And if I can spend my money doing that, what I'm saying, then it's already a success. And so That's what makes me happy.
It's a form of giving back. I don't know if you look at
Sure.
it that way, but it's like, bro, you don't know who you're touching just from by
Right.
saying that word divine. I'm a divine soul. That's when you're gonna see. Because when I started with the truth stuff, when people started coming up to me hollering, make them pay, and truth, they'll be shooting. I'm the truth. I'm like, that's amazing. When people start running up to you saying I'm divine, I'm a
Yeah.
divine soul, you're gonna see the impact that it's having on people, man. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Because your
And it was a
story.
while.
Hmm?
I bet no, I was saying it took a while to, you know what I'm saying, even articulate, you know what I'm saying, what I was trying to do and what, you know what I'm saying, my soul was actually, feeding me. And so now, I'm just now out there, voicing how I really feel about divine soul and about different other things that actually matters to me. And, it's feeding my soul, and that's what it's all about.
Good, man. I hear little EJ sound like he ready for you to come back home.
Yeah, they trying to get to it, man. They trying to get to it. So
It's all good, man.
we've
But
been,
I'm happy we was able to have you on. If you got anything else you want to touch on,
no, man, I appreciate you having me. For sure, everybody, check out our website, ourdivinesoul.com. Follow us on IG, Facebook, Twitter, all of the good stuff, Our Divine Soul. And, just make sure, you're taking care of yourselves, your mental health, as well as doing things that, feed your soul outside of those, those passions, do something to feed your soul. So appreciate you guys having me, and love to all, man.
already, man. I got to get down there this summer. We got to shoot some commercials for Divine Soul, man. Me and Yaya thirsty for the camera. I
For
gotta get my
sure.
commercial snub in, man. Shit. You know what I'm saying?
Anytime, man. Get out this quarantine, man. If y'all make it back this year,
Yeah. We're gonna get it. We're gonna get that. We're gonna get back. Man, like I said, man, appreciate it, man. Thanks again. I'll probably FaceTime you in a few minutes. You know what I'm saying? We holler at each other, man. Oh, we'll do it next time. But we gotta I usually have the truth questions to take respect
Oh,
into freedom. It's gonna be quick one answer questions. What was the
come
moment?
on, give them to me.
Quick 2 minutes. What moment in your life where you feel like you had to take something, like to make your presence be felt, where you was like, I gotta take this opportunity? What was that moment? Like for me, it was when Lorraine got hurt. I was like, this is it. I can't. I gotta take it right now. What was that
Yeah.
moment for you?
The moment for me is right now. Right now I feel like I got to take advantage of this opportunity that we're at home, that I'm actually able to, build this app to actually, propel my clothing brand. I don't feel like there's no bigger moment. And those moments in the past was humongous moments at that time, but the biggest one right now is this, because these are uncharted territories right now. But I'm so excited. I'm looking forward to it, you know what I'm saying? Because that's what gets me going. It's uncharted territory. I'm an athlete, building an app and doing the clothing line and things like that. So these are times where I got to take it, you know what I'm saying? Ain't nobody's going to feel sorry for me. Ain't nobody's going to care, you know what I'm saying? If I don't earn it, they ain't going to buy it. They're not going to like it. So
That's
it's
a
not
great
good.
answer, man. Right now,
Yeah.
he's taking advantage of right now. What about respect? What does respect mean? When you hear respect, what do you think?
Um, I think about the golden rule, you know what I'm saying? Treat others as you want done unto you.
Hello.
You know, uh, that's really what respect is to me. The only thing respect is to me. At
Gotcha.
the end of the day, treating people, and not doing anything, saying to compromise their integrity or compromise your integrity or their dignity.
Right. When you think about until, that's the journey. We kind of touched on it earlier, but what do you think about when you hear the journey, the long road? Give me one word when you hear your story. When you think about your story, give me one word.
Divine.
I love it. I love it. All right.
You already know.
Last one, bro. Last one, bro. Freedom. You think about freedom. What's your definition of freedom? I think we touched on this a little bit earlier too, but let's just reinforce. When you think reassure, what is freedom to you?
Freedom, I feel like, is when you're doing things that, I guess, when you're living your life the way you want to live it, and you're okay with the results of it, and that you're not allowing dogma or people's opinions or anything steer you away from how you want to live your life. You know, I feel like that's freedom.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha, man. Perfect, man. That was some great truth answers, man. But once again, man, thanks again. We got Elijah Millsap. Thanks for coming through, bro. Until next time, holla at you later, bro.
My
All right,
man.
boy. Yeah.
Yes, sir.